Welcome back, Tiger fans, to Rockin' Radio's football podcast. I'm Nate Edwards. That's Nathan Hurst. This is Before the Box Score, your first road trip of the year edition. We are going to be talking about some recruiting news. As we hinted at the last episode, we're going to be talking about Auburn, which is the big road trip for the week. We're going to dive all into it, but first, Nathan Hurst, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, minus the cold that is trying to latch its hooks onto me. I'm repelling it with Dayquil and various over-the-counter remedies to varying effects, but otherwise I'm doing all right.
D3 gummy vitamins. I started taking 4 of those a day. All the sickness went away. Huzzah for being 40.
I've just been snorting lines of zinc, just powdered zinc. That, maybe help a little bit.
Just as our forefathers planned. That's good. Well, we got news to talk about. Like I said, recruiting. It's really taken off in the past week. It's been a sleepy endeavor for most of the year, and then we get into the season, and Mizzou's doing well, and get a couple flips, get a couple decommits that you jump on, and all of a sudden we're feeling good about recruiting. I know Nathan Hurst, you put up a piece about it this week, kind of going over the actual explosion and all the benefits of it. But let's review real quickly who these gentlemen are, the ones that at least said in theory that they're going to be playing for Missouri next year. We'll start at the bottom, work our way up. The first one I want to talk about is Carter Stewart. He is a Utah flip. He's from Pearland, Texas, which Utah recruits very heavily out of the state of Texas. He is the 1,990th ranked player in the country, 182nd best safety. He's out of Shadow Creek in Texas, 6'1", 170. Here's the thing. The recruiting services don't seem to like him very much. If Utah recruits one thing really well, I guess it's linemen. If they recruit 2 things really well, it's linemen and cornerbacks. And Carter Stewart seems to either fill out either corner or safety. How do we feel about him flipping from Utah to Mizzou?
Really good. I mean, to be honest, Utah, not just cornerbacks, but defensive backs in general, I think if they wanted this guy to play in their defense, that makes me want to have him, regardless of what recruiting services think or anybody. If Utah wants you on the defensive side of the ball, then I want you to. It's almost it kind of similar, I would say, if you rewind the clock 15, 20 years, if Mizzou wanted you as a defensive end and you were a 3-star that services overlooked 2-star, 3-star defensive end, if Mizzou wanted you, then you were probably going to be pretty good or turn into somebody pretty good. And that's kind of how I feel, at least the same way about Utah and their defensive backs. So it's great. It's great. I will take somebody from Utah. That's a solid program that's doing well this year. It's not like they're collapsing or anything, and they just have recruits jumping ship. So that just means that we beat them out for NIL and or the recruiting pitch was better than what Utah had.
That's the thing. Kyle Whittingham's been there for 48,000 years. I don't know if he's going to retire at the end of the year or not. It doesn't seem like he's going to ever retire. So this isn't like, the coach got fired or they stink sort of situation. Mizzou just flipped him. Yeah, they were the better choice in his mind, like you said, for NIL or for scheme or whatever. So that's big. I don't care who you are. That's a pretty big deal. And then of course he was not the only flip. Missouri also got a gentleman named Brody Jones, safety out of Fayetteville, Arkansas, 842nd ranked player, 73rd best safety, and the 11th best player in Arkansas out of Fayetteville High School. He was not committed to Arkansas, but Mizzou does love kids from Arkansas. He's actually committed to Cincinnati, and he flipped to Mizzou. And Cincinnati, this isn't, Luke Fickell's Cincinnati. Like, I don't feel very highly about Scott Satterfield's efforts there, but still taking a player from a Power 4 program and bring him in. More of the same. Hey, more numbers are good, right?
I think it's the allure of the SEC versus the Big 12. I mean, it's the SEC money versus Big 12 money. It's the fact that you'll be playing in the SEC versus playing in the Big 12. That probably is what tempted both of these guys to switch allegiances there. And Cincinnati, as you said, not Cincinnati of 5 years ago, but still, I mean, they're 5-1. They're having a successful season so far. So once again, this isn't a program that's collapsing or fired a coach or anything. This is just a straight up steal. And if Drinkwitz and company want this guy, then that makes me happy because I trust their judgment in terms of bringing guys up, especially these 3-star guys that are going to be, depth pieces that aren't expecting to play right away, that are kind of coming in with the expectation, I would think, that they're going to develop, spend a year or two in the weight program and learn the defense, and then find the field by the time they're redshirt sophomores, juniors, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And it's interesting, the safety room has been pretty crowded for a while, and it thinned out a little bit last year, and it's certainly going to be thinned out of starters after this year. And so, Brody and Carter will be entering a recruiting class of safeties that includes Keenan Harris out of SLU in St. Louis, and then, of course, Tony Forney out of Georgia. So, I mean, that's 4 safeties right there. And I don't think either one of them are going to be looked to start, especially when you still have, Trajan Greco. Marvin Burks will probably stick around a little bit longer, but you got Mose Phillips, you have Beans Banner. Like, you got to bring in that next wave, plus whatever transfers that you get. So, Jalen Catalon's gone, Dalen Carnello's gone. You got to bring in the next generation, and getting 4 in, that's a good start to setting up your pipeline for that. And then there's 2 others too. Like, I don't want to stop right there. Obviously, later we had Bryson Wessel, who is a defensive tackle out of Jackson, Missouri. You should probably know Jackson, Grant Russell, WrestleMania, the kicker from 2009, 2010. He is from Jackson. So it's nice to have that pipeline back open. He is a 6'5", 260 defensive tackle currently listed. But another addition to D-Line Zoo. How do you feel about Mr. Wessel?
Hey, I mean, 6'5", he's definitely got the frame to put on some more weight. He's going to have to if he's going to play defensive tackle in the SEC at 260. But 6'5" and you're 18 years old, that means you just get that boy a couple extra sandwiches every day. And by the time he's a sophomore, he'll be a ripe round size to plug up the middle. Gotta love that Jackson pipeline. I mean, we've got Connor Tollison, also hails from Jackson. So there's a Mizzou, a Jackson to Mizzou history of solid players, usually on the offensive line.
Players. Yeah.
But it's heck, let's add a defensive player too while we're at it.
Let's do it. I'm good. Yeah. Now the crown edition so far, and another flip I might add, is Johnny Jones. He flipped to Mizzou and immediately became the highest ranked prospect in Missouri's recruiting class. He's currently 122nd in the nation, 9th best offensive tackle in the country, 17th best player in Florida. He's out of Venice High School. But similar to Bryson, right? He's already 6'6", he's 305, he's 18 years old. This is a big one. Another offensive line blue chipper to add in for Brandon Jones, and another flip. What do you think?
Yeah, this is great. I mean, Mizzou was right there. I think was probably final 2 for him with UCLA, is what it seemed like over the summer when he was committed to UCLA. UCLA fired their coach, and he, understandably wanted to shop around. Thankfully, coaches probably stayed in touch with him and was able to bring him over. Really nice, because I think this class was light on tackles. They've got some guys coming in that probably project more as interior offensive linemen. So to bring a guy in who I think is definitely going to start playing, not start as a freshman, but he's going to come in as a tackle and develop as a tackle from day one. He's got the athleticism, the talent to do that. He's a guy that I think we could see sooner than later. I mean, will he play next year? Probably not, but I could see him within a couple years finding his way onto the field. He's just that talented, that athletic for his size. And at 305 at 18, that means in a couple of years he'll be 325.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they got some big boys at tackle. Khalif Canty out of Detroit, he's also 6'5", 305. Now again, this is recruiting math, right? Subtract an inch on the height, probably subtract about 20 pounds on the weight, but still, got some big boys at the tackle. And then to your point, Brandon Anderson is an interior offensive line, or he projects that way. I know Braylon Ellison out of Boonville, also projected as an interior offensive lineman. So yeah, you need a couple on the edges too, just to line it out. But it's an interesting class so far. I think you're probably going to end up with a similar amount of blue chips as you got in the 23 class, which again, lowest ranked class so far, but featured Marvin Burks, Josh Manning, Brett Norfleet, Jordan Harris, Marquise Johnson, Jamal Roberts. It was a good class, even if it wasn't ranked super high. And right now you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue chippers, and obviously that can change over time. But as far as like breaking it out, you've got your quarterback, Gavin Sidwar. You got two running backs. We talked about them last week. You got two receivers in Jabari Brady and Devion Hill Lomax. You got a tight end. You got your four offensive linemen. You have a defensive end currently, a defensive tackle, a linebacker, and then four safeties. Like, that's a pretty complete class. I mean, yeah, you got some gaps here or there, but that's also what the portal's for, let alone what your current depth is. So I'm not thinking that they're done, but I think we're getting close. I mean, what else would you like to see from this class?
I mean, and in terms of specific positions, I don't think there's a whole lot. I mean, I'm never going to turn down more linemen, never going to turn down more defensive linemen. So at this point, since you've checked the boxes that you have to check, you have to bring in a quarterback every class. They got that checked the very first thing right off the bat. So that's great. Maybe another kind of a wide receiver, elite, big ball winning wide receiver. Those don't grow on trees. If you had to ask for Santa to bring something in his sleigh close to signing date, that would be great. I agree. I doubt we're going to see a lot more here back to back like we've seen the last 3 weeks. We've had several 8 commitments in the last 18 or 19 days now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that continuing. I think they could probably add a couple more, but we've seen each year right on signing day or the day or two before signing day, the staff has gone out and either gotten a flip or two or snagged somebody that waited till the very end to commit. And those are usually some of the higher rated players in each of the recent classes. Just think of Javian Hilson, think of Marquise Davis, Kewan Lacey 2 years ago. So I'd imagine they have a couple of those left in their sleeve, but I doubt we'll see a lot more 3-star type of guys coming in at this point.
Now, you should follow our recruiting guy, True Deck, @by True Deck if you're on Twitter. He has been plumbing the depths and looking at all the guys, not only where we fall as far as like top 6, top 4, that sort of thing, but he's been on it too, as far as guys who have been decommitting from programs who fired their coaches or just in general. There's a long list of guys who had Mizzou kind of in that final cutoff before they committed, and now their coach is fired, or they're opening their commitment back up for other reasons. So, like, there could be more. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what is and isn't legit. You'd have to ask True for that sort of in-depth detail, but you never know. You never know. And the thing with recruiting, especially in the modern era, yeah, like you said, take the blue chippers when they say, I want to come. Like, okay, we'll figure it out. So yeah, it's an interesting time. And as long as Mizzou keeps winning, and these coaches keep getting fired earlier and earlier, then yeah, we'll be there to clean you up. It's all good. But yeah, so far so good on the recruiting shows. I'm just glad that people are happy about recruiting again. You know, everyone seems to get really pissy about it when it doesn't happen because drink has spoiled us, and now we got new presents to think about, which is nice.
Well, yeah, it also just is a little less stressful. It's a little more stressful, should I say, when you're staring at a recruiting ranking in the upper 70s, which Mizzou hasn't finished, and I don't think anyone ever expected us to finish that low, but that would have been the worst class in the internet rivals recruiting rankings era by far. Now in just 18 days, or now 19 days, that's jumped up to number 31 in 247's rankings, 26 in On3/Rivals ranking. So that's right. That's still on the lower end of the classes that Drinkwitz has brought in, but that's still in an area that you feel comfortable with, especially if they could add on a couple more 4-stars here towards the end of the period. That would bump it up to 25-ish, and that's a class you can be happy with.
What is our worst? Would it be 2011 when it took like 8 dudes?
It would have to go back to the early 2000s. Pinkle's still establishing. That was still technically the Rivals era, though. That's what I consider basically 2000 on this century.
No, it was 2020. Oh my gosh, it was Eli Drinkwitz's first class.
Right. I mean, Barry Odom fired, and the guys he did have in, a lot of them left, so that would make sense. So yeah. Well, Pinkle had a couple top 25s in there, but not to Drink's level. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the game. Obviously, Mizzou's got a big game on deck. It's the first road trip. It's Auburn. It's one of those teams that Mizzou has not played a lot, and when they have, they tend to lose. Obviously, that was not the case last year. They got their first victory over Auburn since moving into the SEC, which is nice. Eli Drinkwitz is now 1-1 against Auburn, which is nice. But
not great on the road. That's kind of the thing about college football in general, and certainly about this college coach. Um, just general vibes check. How do you feel about this game as we sit here on Wednesday?
Uh, yeah, it's hard to tell because Auburn internally is and off the field is having a lot of issues, especially, I mean, it's kind of been boiling for years, to be honest, but especially this week, they're having a lot of off the field issues. They just kicked their senior leader, or I don't know if he's a senior, but their team captain, best
Captain,
running
yeah.
back off the team for reasons that are, unclear. I mean, I
Did
think
you hear the reason?
there are lots of different reports. Mainly sounds like he wanted to redshirt, but yet still get his NIL, and the
Mm-hmm.
coaching staff was not about that.
Yeah.
And so they basically told him you can play or you can leave the team. Um, so it
Can
doesn't
we do a
doesn't
quick
sound great.
aside? Can we do a quick aside?
Sure.
I think Hugh Freeze has a point.
Yeah.
Like, if you are injured and you are going to take a red shirt because you can't play, I kind of feel like these contracts are performance based. I don't know for sure. I've never seen one, but like, I would be okay. Like, hey, yeah, we're going to still cover your school, but we're not going to pay you to sit on the bench. And it sounds like from the couple of reports that I saw, that was the case. But what is the fallout? Of course, he didn't handle it well because it's Hugh Freeze and he doesn't handle anything well. Now he's being like dodgy in the media, and like the entire team is coming out on social media and supporting this guy because obviously he's a captain. But yeah, now I'm sitting in the unfortunate position of Hugh Freeze has a good point.
Right.
I don't
No,
know
I
how I
mean,
feel about that.
I get that. You got to keep your donors, willing to fork up big money, and they're not going to be less likely to do that if somebody, and I don't know what his injury issues were. He had played a little bit. It's not like he was going to be out. He was going to be injured and missing the rest of the season, but he'd
Yeah.
missed enough time at this point in the season that he thought it would be better for him personally to take off the rest of the season and come back again and play for Auburn next year. It's not like he
Uh-huh.
was wanting to leave and transfer somewhere else.
He's
But at
been
the
a
same time,
Harsin guy. He's been around forever.
right. But you also, to Freeze's point too, you're not guaranteed that he's going to come back next year.
Yeah.
He can say he wants to come back next year, but he's not beholden to that. And kids change their mind all the time, as they should be able to.
Uh-huh.
But if you're not going to play when you're physically able to play, and we've got this money tied up for you, I get it. It's a nasty business. I mean, it's become a business, just like the NFL. But when you bring in big money like that's what's going to happen. And we've had this off-season conversation many times, but I mean, until they come up with actual contracts where there is written down in black and white ink, this is what is expected of you as a member of this team, and you're going to play when you can, and when you're injured, you're going to be injured, and you're not going to sit out when you can play until that is a thing, which doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. We're going to keep. This is not going to be the last time that this may not be the last time this year that something like this happens in a locker room. So it's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough.
It is. Yeah, Hugh Freeze is not a likable guy. Certainly, well, not for me. I'm not going to speak for you, but
No, I
um,
don't have any kind words to say. So
he's a Philistine. He is a charlatan, and I hope every day is the worst day in his life, just flat out. Him and his defensive coordinator. I hope they both just eat cold steaks and stub their toe on every desk that they walk by. So no love lost there, but Auburn is a mess, and it's kind of always a mess. Just the people involved in that program, but they also just can't get out of their own way. And then you hired this guy, and you hired him because he could beat Nick Saban, and then Nick Saban beat him and then retired. So like, okay, guess now what do we do? I saw the thing circulating social media of the Truman the Tiger Grim Reaper, knocking on the door, right? And every coach that has been fired after losing to Mizzou. I don't know. Could be next. It could be next.
It very well may happen if Mizzou were to win this. You kind of back to how I feel about this game. It has they're very similar vibes to, I think it was 2017. Mizzou traveled to Baton Rouge to play LSU the week after Les Miles was fired, and Ed Orgeron had taken over as the interim. And by all accounts, LSU was in just shambles. They fired their coach, and everyone is pissed off and hates everybody. Everyone hates each other. And like, oh, okay, Mizzou had not that Mizzou team was not as good as this Mizzou team, but they were, and that might have been 20, yeah, it was 2017. But they were a competent team. And they were on. I believe they had won a few games in a row at that point. They were feeling good coming in. Okay, well, LSU's a mess. We're going to come in. We're going to win the game. And they just got pounded. Now, is it a one for one comparison? No, but the vibes around that kind of feel the same. It has me a little bit worried. It could go one of two ways. Mizzou could come out, punch them in the mouth, and Auburn, just quits because it seems like that program is on the verge of that. Or they can Auburn can rally around something. I doubt it's Hugh, but somebody or something, and come out and play hard and turn this into a drag out, knock down, drag out dogfight. And at that point, something weird happens, because weird stuff happens in that stadium all the time, as we know, we can attest from 2022. And before you know it, you're losing by 10 points because there was a weird fumble and a ball bounced off somebody's helmet into the open arms of a wide open receiver, and they get a touchdown. So it could go one of those two ways. I don't think it's going to be a Mizzou wins by an average, like an 8-point game. Either they're going to win by 3 scores, or they're gonna lose by a score. That's I kind of how I feel about it.
Auburn does not react to adversity well under this staff. You had like the Oklahoma illegal touchdown that was just super cool, but also illegal. They lost by that touchdown. That was the point differential. You had Texas A&M where they couldn't score. You had last week against Georgia, where not only the coach but the AD lost their shit on the referees heading into the halftime.
Which
and
is
they
a
were
bad
like
look.
doing really well, and then they gained like 20 yards the rest of the game and let Georgia kind of squeak away. They do not. Hugh Freeze does not handle adversity well. The staff doesn't seem to do it, and I don't know if the team does either. Now, maybe they pull a varsity blues, right? Punch their coach in the face at halftime, and then Jackson Arnold just calls like wing T plays and grinds this thing out. Sure, maybe that'll be it, but I don't feel good about it because I haven't seen Mizzou play on the road yet, and we're October 15th. It's going to be 18th, and this has been the bugaboo for certainly most college teams, but certainly this one. And this is going to be this offense's first game on the road. They've looked great against overmatched competition. They were handled well by Alabama, but still in it to win it. And so that was their first real test against a big boy defense. And now here's your first road test against an also big boy defense. If you can't handle that on at home, how do you handle it on the road? And you'd like to think that running the ball, and playing good defense travels well, but I would have said the same thing about Alabama, and they, it didn't work as well. Alabama was able to beat us at our own game. So I don't know. There's enough questions here, and Auburn's just chaos team that you never know what's going to happen. It's just, I don't feel good about it, and I'm not going to feel good about it until we get to zeros. But what do you look at? What are you grasping for hope? What's giving you hope about Missouri coming away with a win?
The Auburn's offense is really bad.
Really bad.
And the one thing that they could hurt Mizzou at, that Mizzou's has proven to not be great at, though last week was the exception, big explosive pass plays. Auburn can do that, but is so inconsistent.
Cam Coleman can do that.
Yes. They're so inconsistent in that I feel like if they were to do it, it would be maybe once, because Jackson Arnold holds on to the ball a really, really long time. I feel like he's emotionally scarred from what he went through last year. And he, to his credit, has not thrown an interception all season. He's also taken 21 sacks, which leads the Power Four, so more by a lot. So he's going to hold on to the ball for a really, really long time, and unless his receiver is wide open, he's not going to throw it, and then that's going to give the Mizzou defensive line plenty of opportunities to rack up that sack number even higher. And they can't run the ball particularly well either. So that gives me hope, is that even if the Mizzou offense struggles, as long as they don't turn the ball over, they're going to be able to find enough holes there to score enough points, I think, to pull this one out.
Yeah, and Auburn isn't particularly interested in getting turnovers. I mean, to your point, he hasn't thrown an interception. To my point, like they have, I think, 5 on the year. So they're in plus territory as far as turnovers go, but it's just it's not a lot. It's not a lot given that we're week 7 here. Yeah, gosh, I was looking at it. Jackson Arnold has an 11.3 sack percentage. That's bad. That's real bad. I was looking at his offensive line too. It's oh boy, it's not great. Pressures allowed. They are at 1.5%. Oh, that's not super bad. It's just that when it happens, oh yeah, there it is. The pressure to sack conversion, 47%. That I don't think I've ever seen that number that high before. Basically, you're not going to get a lot of pressures, but if you do, he going down. 1 out of every 2. And who likes to create pressures? Damon Wilson likes to create pressures, and he's going to play. He's going to play, so that will feel good. Really, it's stop the run and make him throw up prayers to Cam Coleman. And he has, you want to talk about inefficiency, he's catching 58% of the balls thrown his way. Boy, that is bad. That is bad. Just to give you an idea, so his yards per reception, 12.7, good. Yards per target, 7.1. If you're almost at half, like that's pretty bad. And a 46% success rate when you throw at Cam Coleman. It's not, in the long term, it's not worth it, but you get that one 30-yarder or that one, quick hitch that turns into a touchdown. So it's like candy. You want to keep going to it, but you shouldn't. And they don't really have anybody else. Well, I guess Eric Singleton's okay. He's got a better catch rate anyway. But yeah, make him throw and make Jackson Arnold cry. That's the secret.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the answer is you put a safety on Cam Coleman's side that is specifically assigned to help, to basically double team or at least bracket Coleman. And then you play man up on everybody else because Singleton's fine. He's probably would have been the 4th best receiver on Alabama, who they actually defended fairly well last week. So do that and then play your base defense, which has been really good at stopping the run all season. To be honest, the runner that could hurt them the most is Jackson Arnold. He's got 6 touchdowns. He's not as you just said, he gets sacked all the time. He's not a great scrambler, but he is a pretty decent designed runner. He kind of, if he gets his momentum going in the direction that he needs to go, and plans to do it, he can do that pretty well. But this team has been really good against running quarterbacks, and he's the 3rd best running quarterback they'll have played all season, and they've handled the other 2 just fine on the ground. So that doesn't particularly worry me either. It's really just control the run game. Don't let Ken Coleman beat you 3 times. He can get you a couple times, but as long as you keep it to less than 3 and your offense isn't giving them short fields, on turnovers, there isn't a whole lot of excuse not to win this game other than it's on the road. Auburn is a really tough environment to play in, no matter how bad the team is. That 2022 game at 11 a.m. Playing a horrible Auburn team, that was a electric environment, and their coach was fired 2 weeks later. I mean, he was that team sucked, and that was still a really tough place to play. At 6:45 at night, it's going to be very, a completely different ball game. So it remains to be seen how they're going to react in that kind of an environment. But as long as they don't shoot themselves in the foot, I think they should be able to do enough to come out with one.
Well, for Mizzou's offense, I know we're all very anxious to see Missouri run the ball because they don't do it, or whatever the meta is at this point. It's the 2nd best run defense in the country. That's what Auburn is. They're allowing less than 30% success rates on the ground. They don't let anything big. They don't let anything small. Now you could say, "Hey, Ahmad Hardy is rested and pissed off, and so he's ready to make some fools hurt." Sure, you're absolutely right. That could be a potential here. But there's a lot of opponents that tried to run on Auburn, and it has not worked. And really, it's going to be passing the ball, which it's an adventure sometimes. I've seen some pretty good documentation of Bo Pribula's very bad day on Saturday. So I'm sure he is motivated to be better in the passing department. And of course, he's a very good runner too. But I just you look at this game on paper and I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna be like the first to 17 wins, and it's gonna take 4 quarters to get to 17. Now it doesn't matter how you win, you just have to win. But I just feel like this is gonna be an absolutely miserable game. No one's going to be happy, and then you're gonna get a very whimsical outcome of like 17-13. And you're like, can we fire? Auburn's gonna be like, can we fire the guy after this? And Mizzou fans are gonna be like, oh no, do we actually suck? And like, no one's gonna feel good. But I'll take the win. Obviously, I worry about our collective mindset after this game
Yeah.
because it could be rough.
No, this is a SEC road game, and to be honest, short in any if you win by 1 point and it's 3-2, that is a good win on the road in this league, especially this year. I know maybe you can't necessarily say that about like a Kentucky this season, but that might be the end of the list in terms of tough road environments in this league. So um, it will be an ugly game. It's not going to be. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be pretty. No matter how, even if Mizzou wins by 3 scores, it's going to feel like you're pulling your toenails out the whole time anyway. But all you got to do is win by 1 point, and that's a good win. Even if Auburn goes on to lose out the rest of their games, that will be a good win because that is a tough place to play, and it's not a place Mizzou's ever won. So that you can't take that for granted at any point in time.
Yeah. Eli Drinkwitz is good at blowing past barriers that previous regimes have met. Obviously, he's never beaten Alabama. Okay. He's never beaten Ole Miss because he's never played Ole Miss. And he's never beaten Auburn on the road. So, let's go ahead and put that feather in this cap. I think this is going to be 17-13, frankly. I think that's what it's going to end up being. I'll say Mizzou wins, but boy, it's just a chaos team. Anything can happen here. What are you thinking?
I'm around that same way. I had 2013 Mizzou.
Mm-hmm.
With maybe the defense forcing a turnover. It's 17-13 with
Beautiful.
a turnover late, add a field goal there with a couple of minutes left to push you up a touchdown. But yeah, it's going to be low scoring because minus the first game of the season when Auburn played Baylor, which was a little bit of a shootout. They only play low scoring games. Now, to be fair, Oklahoma, A&M, Georgia, not the most high powered offenses that they've played in the last 3 weeks, and you might be able to argue that Mizzou's the best offense that they've played all season coming into the game. Certainly the most balanced, I think, but it's still going to be a tough grind. Do not expect to go in and throw for 300 yards or run for 200 yards. Neither of those things are going to happen. But as long as they can protect the ball, get first downs, stay on the field, if they can win the time of possession by 8 minutes, I think they're going to win.
Okay, I had to look it up because I was curious. Missouri will be the second best offense that Auburn has faced. Texas A&M is currently 11th in SP Plus, but they've beaten Baylor, which is 22nd, Ball State, which is 132nd. Oh boy, poor Cardinals. South Alabama, which is 104th, Oklahoma, which was 39th, Texas A&M, like I said, 11th, and then Georgia 19th. So this will be the second best offense so far for them. Also, Auburn is currently ranked 27th in SP Plus. If you had to guess, Nathan Hurst, how many times has Missouri beaten a top 30 SP Plus team on the road?
Oh my gosh.
It's happened twice, and it's both in the SEC, just to give you a hint.
Okay. Well, wait, I thought that was the question, is how many times. So the answer is true.
Yeah.
So who have they beaten on the road that's top 30? At the time of the game or at the end of the season?
At the end of the season.
Okay. Because I might have maybe said Kentucky in 23, but I don't think they were top 30 by the end of that season. I don't.
Okay, I'll give you a hint.
This is under Drinkwitz or in general?
Under Drinkwitz.
Okay.
Kentucky in 23 is absolutely the answer. They were 24th in SP Plus.
I didn't realize they finished that. I didn't realize they finished that high.
There's
one other. Would it have been? It wouldn't have been South Carolina 2 years ago. There's not a whole lot of home wins to pick from.
Yeah, that's the beauty of being bad on the road.
Most likely, it would have been. Let's see. They haven't been. It couldn't have been one of those Arkansas wins on the road. No,
Nope.
they've all been. It's like, who is it? Then
It
I
was
give
South
up.
Carolina,
It was
2022.
South Carolina. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's really not a whole lot because you go down the list. Like, well, they haven't played Ole Miss. They have lost to A&M. They
Yeah.
lost to Alabama. They lost to Georgia. Lost to
Mhm.
I haven't played LSU on the road actually. Lost to
Not yet.
Tennessee. So go down. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's only happened twice. You can make it happen a third time. That's totally within the rules, but you got to do it. So we'll see.
If there's a time to do it, it's just based on everything that Auburn going on in Auburn right now. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going to beat Auburn at Auburn, this is the time to do it.
Mhm.
If you can't get it done this time with what they're dealing with off the field and the team, the quality of the team that you have, I don't know when it's going to happen because I don't imagine Auburn's going to be this much of a dumpster fire in perpetuity. They have very high variance, but the next time Mizzou rolls in there, which will probably be in about 3 years or so, who knows where they're going to be? It'll probably be with a different coach, so they could be someone competent.
I was going to say, I feel like John Summerall is going to have this team squared away by the time that Missouri plays them again. So this would be the time to do it. I completely agree. But yeah, we'll see. Now I am curious because I got to look it up. Next time Missouri plays Auburn will be 27-29. I forget which one's at home, which one's away, but one of those two. So yeah, Coach Summerall will have him in line. It'll be good. Where are you going to watch the game?
Well, this will be the first time I get to actually watch it in my new basement setup.
Hey,
just moved in a couple weeks ago, so this will be the first football Saturday all season I'll be able to watch and enjoy from home because I've either been tailgating for Mizzou games or during the bye week physically moving all of my crap. So
yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to that experience, not just watching the Mizzou game, but watching all the games because it's a pretty stacked slate of games all day. So it should be fun.
Yeah, good SEC schedule, good schedule all over. So yeah, should be a good Saturday. But that's the show for today. As always, we appreciate the downloads and the subscriptions. You can leave a comment or rate us. We love all types of feedback from you all. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Nate G. Edwards. He's at Bursta Hurst. And of course, you can follow the Rock M flagship at Rock M Nation and our podcasting outlet at Rock M Radio. We appreciate you tuning in this time. We'll try to do better next time. And until then, MIZ.
ZOU.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Rock M Radio, a proud partner of Fans First Sports Network. Rock M Radio is the official podcast network of Rock M Plus, a new and exciting subscription service provided by me and the other voices of Rock M Radio. Please take a few moments to head over to rockm.plus and sign up for an account today. The cost is only $5 a month, and the benefits include access to our live podcast, a subscriber-only message board, weekly newsletters, and more. If you enjoyed this episode of Rock M Radio and would like to see more just like it beamed directly into your personal device, make sure to click the subscribe button below and tell your friends. Our podcast feed is available through the Apple Podcast app for iPhone, Google Podcast app for Android, whatever app you listen to your podcast. You can also find Rock M Radio on Spotify. If you're looking for a podcast about your favorite team that is not Missouri Tigers, Fan First Sports Network is your answer. A full podcast network loaded with the team-specific podcasts covering Major League Baseball, the NFL, NHL, NBA, MLS, and more. And we'll be back with more episodes of Rock M Radio coming to you soon.